Shalom. Call Halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kradash, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Copyright disclaimer under the section of 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, commenting, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Now, with that being said, I want to share with you an interesting take that Denzel Washington gave during an interview on BET on a show called 106 in Park. Now, some of you might be a little too young to remember this show, but those of us with some age on us, we remember this show very well. But before he gives his take, I want to read to you a precept, because we know that many of you still don't believe that when Revelation, the 13th chapter, the 16th and 17th verse refers to the mark, is talking about this device here, all right? As you can see in the caption, it states, "Could your next purchase be made with the wave of a hand?" See, this is the device that's going to be made mandatory. This is the device you're going to need to be implemented or implanted in your hand and or in your head to function in the upcoming society, in the new world order. But nevertheless, let me grab a precept, because we all know you'll believe a man that has means, a man that's famous, a man that has resources. And how do we know this to be true? This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 13, verse 23, and it reads, "When a rich man speaketh," aka Denzel Washington, "every man holdeth his tongue." Why is that? Because they're listening to him closely. "And look what he saith. They extol it to the clouds," meaning they hold his words in high regard, high esteem, and they believe it immediately. "But if the poor man speaketh," because we're likened unto those poor men, right? Remember, in this current condition, we're likened unto Lazarus, all right? "But if the poor man speaketh, they say, What fellow is this? And if he stumbleth, they will help to overthrow him." Now let's go back, and I want you to listen closely to what Denzel has to say. And keep in mind, this interview was from approximately 25 years ago. So I want you to consider how much more effective and efficient this device is now. Listen closely, and per usual, I'll chime in momentarily.
What's about to happen is right where they cut it. It gets very physical.
Yeah.
Folks,
Just to say the
folks
least.
get chewed on. And,
Mike Tyson-ish.
yeah, you know. Oh, yeah.
I'm saying it. Now, there's like the scientific element, like conspiracy in this film. Like, do you think that things like that are really happening or have happened, where they're programming people?
It is happening. There was a pamphlet they gave me about a chip, an implant that they put in the body, and it can for security purposes.
Right. You need security.
To identify you, to so that they know where you are. So I thought the pamphlet was made up for the movie,
Right.
but it was real.
Oh, okay.
The kinds of little chips that you saw that we use in the movie are actually made. Now, as to what they can do, they'll tell you, "Oh no, it can't do all of that. It's just for global positioning and identification." But
Only the
I'm not
mad
trying to let them put
scientist
one in me.
knows. Oh, they got me either.
No. Let's stop there. If you were paying attention, he said it is actually real, right? Let me go to the book of Acts, chapter 7, verse 51, because we know the children of Israel, they're hard of hearing. In Acts chapter 7, verse 51 reads this, "Ye stiff-necked and uncircumcised in heart and ears, ye do always resist the Holy Ghost, as your forefathers did, so do ye." So with that being said, I'm going to play this one more time.
What's about to happen is right where they cut it. It gets very physical.
Yeah.
Folks,
Just to say the
folks
least.
get chewed on. And,
Mike Tyson-ish.
yeah, you know. Oh, yeah.
I'm saying it. Now, there's like the scientific element, like conspiracy in this film. Like, do you think that things like that are really happening or have happened, where they're programming people?
It is happening. There was a pamphlet they gave me about a chip, an implant that they put in the body, and it can for security purposes.
Right. You need security.
To identify you, to so that they know where you are. So I thought the pamphlet was made up for the movie.
Right.
but it was real.
Oh, okay.
The kinds of little chips that you saw that we used in the movie are actually made. Now, as to what they can do, they'll tell you, oh, no, it can't do all of that. It's just for global positioning and identification. But,
only the
I'm not trying to let them put one in me.
Only me either.
All right, we get the gist. Let's come out of this here, right? Let's go from here. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 9, verse 16, and it reads, Then said I, wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised. You see, now that a rich man has said it, do you believe it now? Okay, I'm gonna read it again. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. You know, some of you were on the fence, considering that the MOTB is sin and/or is sleeping with white women, it's an embargo, so on and so forth. So many excuses. Now that Denzel Washington himself has told you what he's witnessed, what is your excuse now? Let's come out of this here. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 12, and it reads, For wisdom is a defense. The next precept that comes to my mind, because the scriptures tells us this wisdom and knowledge will be the stability of thy times. When this rolls out, because it's going to happen, all prophecies have to come into fruition. We're already going to know and going to be able to identify right away what it is. For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it. The English Standard Version states this. For the protection of wisdom is like the protection of money, and the advantage of knowledge is that wisdom preserveth the life of him who has it. Let me come out of that here, because we always have new believers coming into this truth. And Denzel, what he spoke about, what he references, Revelation, the 13th chapter, the 16th through the 17th verse, and it reads, And he causeth all. Who is he? Esau, the Edomites, the so-called white man, specifically the elites, and he causeth all, everyone, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Verse 17, that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Now let's go into that word mark here in the blue letter, right? We're in Revelation, the 13th chapter, and let's scroll down to the 16th verse. And I have it pulled up for you here already. And specifically, we're going to dive into that word mark and see what it reveals. All right, let's go here. What does it give us? It gives us
Strong's G 5480, Charagma. Charagma.
Right? What does it say there? A stamp, an imprinted mark. All right, let's dive a little bit deep into that word. What does it give us now?
Strong's G 5482, Charax. Charax.
What is it went from charagma to the charax. And what is that? A pale or stake or palisade. All right. And a stake and a pale is something that what? Pierces what it goes into. Let's go a little bit further. And what does it give us now?
Strong's G 1125, Grapho. Grapho.
What does it tell us? To write with reference to the form of letters. And what is that essentially going into? A cutting, making a mark, or writing or sketching into what? Your skin. And that's the device here that I have queued up for you. This is the device that Denzel was talking about 25 years ago, that the elite have planned for you, Jake. Do you believe it now that a rich man has told you? Okay, this is what we've been talking about for a while now, especially the apostles and the elders. They've been talking about this for 30, 40 years. Do you believe it now that a rich man has told you? You have no excuse now, Jake. Call Allah Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.